Hello there and welcome to a brand new video. This is Hub Beyond Numbers where we learn maths the easy way. In this lesson, we are looking at skip counting in 25, 50s and then 250s. We'll define what skip counting is, look at some applications, some real life applications of it as well. So without much ado, let's quickly look into it. So talking of skip counting, let's look at what it means. When we say we are skip counting, it simply means you are counting forward or what backwards by a number other than 1. So if you are counting forward or backwards than any other number apart from 1, then we say we are skip counting. Now it means adding or subtracting the same number each time. So for instance, if I say let's skip count in fives, all right, if you want to skip count in fives, then we are going to get the numbers. We have 5 itself, then going to 10, 15, on and on and on. So this is we skip counting in fives. You see, and if you want to skip count in 5 backwards as well, then we can start from a number like 50. Then for 50, we have 45, you have 40, and then that also goes on and on and on, right? So with this in mind, let's look at the two types of skip counting that we have. So having looked at what skip counting is, when we say we are forward counting, which is one example of skip count, then for the first example I gave, that is for fives, it means we forward skip count means what? We are increasing the number each time by addition. So starting from 5, we are going to add 5 to it. And 5 plus 5 gives us a 10. Then we add another 5 to it, giving us what? A 15. You see? Then we have our 20. We keep adding 5s. On the other hand, backward skip counting simply means you are reducing. This is the most important word here. We are reducing the number each time by subtraction. So with the previous example, if we have 20 and we want to skip count in fives, then starting from 20, we start from 20 and then we now come down to what? 15. Why? Because we are subtracting. So 15 minus 5 also gives us 10. 10 minus 5 gives us 5, and it goes on and on and on. So we can see that this one keeps increasing, whereas this here keeps what? Decreasing. So these are the two types of skip counting we have. Now, our topic today is to skip count in 25s, in 50s, and then in 250s. With a basic understanding we have gotten, we would rather look at word problems or real life problems that will need us to apply this. So without much ado, let's quickly look into them. So looking at this question we have over here, it says Amma saves what? 25 cedis every week. Now, how much will she save in 8 weeks? How much is she going to save in 8 weeks? You could use your multiplication to just multiply 8 by 25 and you get the answer. But if we want to apply skip counting, this is how we are supposed to do it. Now, per word we have, this is a mental picture we can paint. It says she saved 25 every week. So on week 1, she's going to save 25. On week 2, another 25. Week 3, 25, in that order. You see? Now, to get the total she's going to save, how much she would have saved in 8 weeks, then we simply want to skip count. You see? So on the first week, she's just going to save a 25. You see? And then on the second week, it is going to increase by another 25. That is, we are adding another 25 to it. So that gives us a 50. On the third week, we have what? A 75. On the fourth week, we have 100. On the fifth week, we have 125. On the sixth week, we have 150. On the seventh week, we have 175. And then on the eighth week, we have 200. You see, this is how we apply skip counting. So we can then come and say, therefore, Amma would have saved 200 cedis in 8 weeks. Very simple and straightforward. Let's look at some few more examples. Now, this next question here says, a student had 500 cedis. He spent 50 cedis daily. How much is left after 4 days? Anytime you are asked a question, you need to be able to determine if it is either a forward skip or a backwards one. For this, we have over here, he has 500, and then it is being spent 50 cedis daily. So it simply means the amount he has will be reducing, and that is a backwards one, you see. So mentally, we can write this over here. We can write the number of days. So we have the number of days here, and then the amount left, you see. So on the initial day, that is day 0, when he has not spent any money, he has what? 500 left. On the first day, he's going to spend a 50. You see, so since he's going to spend a 50, the amount we need over here will be 500 minus the 50. And we know 500 minus 50 to give us what? 450. So you put that 450 over here. On the second day, he's going to spend another 50. And how do we do that? We reduce our 450 by 50, which gives us a 400. On the third day, he's also going to spend a 50. So we then have a 350. Now guess what would be left on the fourth day? So on our fourth day, there's also going to be a spend of 50. And we obtain that by subtracting a 50 from our 350, so that we have 300. So we can then conclude that a 300 cedis is left after the 4 days. Looking at these two examples, you can see how we can apply the forward skip then backward skip. Now this year was for 25, whereas this year was for 50. Let's do one last example. We are going to apply 250. So this last one here says a school has 2,000 cedis for printing. If 250 is used weekly, how much will be left after 5 weeks? It is just the same as we have done so far. So you can pause the video at this moment, try on your own, and then you come so that we do it together. Now, if you're able to do it and you had something like this, then you are on the right path. So first of all, we look at the week number and then the amount that will be left after each week. The initial week number is what? 0. And the amount the school has is 2,000 cedis. And since this amount they are spending, it means the money is going to reduce. Hence, we are skip counting backwards. So how do we skip count backwards? We said we just subtract the said number. In this case is 250. We keep subtracting. So from 2,000, if we subtract 250 from it, we have 2,750. We do that again and then we have 2,500. We do that again and then we have what? 2,250. The next one gives us a 1,000. Then on the 5th week, we subtract what? Another 250, and that leaves us with a 750. So we conclude that what? 750 would be left after 5 weeks. So basically, this is how we skip count. This is how we apply skip counting. As usual, I'll leave you with some exercises you can try just to test your understanding. So here you have some questions you can try on your own. The one on your right hand side here are just simple and direct, and I do hope that you'll be able to do them. Same applies here. Now these are word problems, of which we have done most of them in this session. This is how Beyond Numbers, where we learn maths the easy way. If this lesson was helpful, you can always choose to subscribe if you so do wish, so that anytime I release the next lesson, you'll be notified as well. Stay blessed and see you in our next lesson. Bye for now.